Hey geeks, it is Chris Futrell from Southern Illinois, and whenever I'm not rope dropping Municeburg for a cookie num num or accidentally spending $90 on a beer flight at Oga's, I go geeking on Walt Disney World with Curtis and the whole geeking family, and that stinking Caribbean earworm that gets stuck in your head. I don't even know what we're doing.
Hey, Disney World geeks, Curtis Stone here, and happy Independence Day weekend here in the United States, and welcome to episode 464 of the Geekin' on Walt Disney World podcast. This week, that was our good friend Chris Futrell about a year ago doing an intro for me, and it's just so coincidental that he is doing a trip report this episode. He went down to Disney World with his wife. Chris is an awesome foodie, so we'll be covering lots of food, fun, and tips from his trip to Disney World. And I've been having fun chatting with Disney World fans like Chris for over 8 years on the podcast. And if you're new to the podcast, well, welcome. Started the podcast with my daughter, Lindsay, talking about our Disney World trips. And then we brought on you Disney geeks to tell your trip stories. And our listeners are so positive, caring, generous, and they are experienced Disney geeks. You'll get lots of ideas and tips for your next trip to Disney World from their real world experiences and trip reports. We encourage a family atmosphere. And before too long, they were calling me the Podfather. We'd love for you also to join our Geekin' family. We got an amazing private discussion group in Facebook. Search for Geekin' on WDW Family in Facebook. It's a great place to ask questions, share your trip pictures. We got some geeks down there on the holiday weekend. Always fun seeing those little mini geek meets down in the parks. And you can engage with us every single day of the year in our private Facebook group. It's one of the best Disney groups out there on the internet. We're also independent Disney authorized travel guides with FTC Elite Travel. Yes, a new branded name. FTC Elite Travel is an authorized platinum Disney travel agency. And we'd love to be your Disney travel guides and help you book your room tickets, dining reservations, have fun chatting with my wife, Margita, and her good friend, Auntie Judy. Email them at travelandtiaras@gmail.com to get started on your trip. You know, look for that Geekin' Cruise we're doing in February of next year. We're getting several inquiries. That is going to be a lot of fun. Lindsay and I are going, and a bunch of your friends too. So if you want to come along and have fun on that new Disney Wish, which they just christened this past week, we're seeing some videos and other folks going on there. Everyone's getting excited about the Disney Geekin' Cruise on the Wish next February. So email Mom and Auntie Judy, travelandtiaras@gmail.com to get your information on that. For now, let's go back to Disney World with Chris Futrell and his wife down to Port Orleans Riverside. They stayed. Talks about the airport transportation. And yeah, Chris is a foodie. So we go deep into food like Trattoria al Forno, boat rides. He has a really fun story at the River Roost at Port Orleans Riverside. That's where Yeehaw Bob plays. Chef Art Smith's Homecoming, UK Fish and Chips, ABC Commissary, Flower and Garden Booths. Although I think we said food and wine. I think we slipped there, Chris, a little bit. I actually had a couple of his, too, that he had down at Flower and Garden. You'll hear my trip report, which was recorded this past week, thanks to Wendy Fox, recording my trip report. You'll hear all kinds of first experiences, like the Disney Springs hot air balloon. We rank the festivals. His first time at Club Cool. He does the Genie Plus, so you'll definitely hear how he made out with Genie Plus. And he talks about the Harmonious fireworks over at Epcot. Where's the best spot to watch the fireworks? Well, Chris is number one in trip nights to trip report minutes ratio. Think about that for a minute. He's bringing you great food details and tips from just a short trip to Disney World. But we have a lot of fun. I think you're going to have a lot of fun. I hope you're having fun this weekend on the fun 3-day weekend. I always love that. Happy Independence Day, all my fellow Americans. Here comes that earworm, Chris. as usual, I'm really excited to do a trip report, especially when I got one of my pals coming on. And because I owe him one big time, but I really I love it when my good friends go on trips down to Disney World. They bring some great reports back to us. So please give a warm Geek and Family welcome to Chris Futrell. Hey, Chris.
Hey, geeks. Hey, Kurt.
So good to see you. I'm so glad we can record a podcast together, Chris.
Yes. Always a pleasure.
Boy, do I owe you one. When you ever told me, where's that Geek Meet recording, I nearly died, especially when I was in a cold sweat trying to find it. And it has become the long lost episode.
It's a lost episode. Yeah. Has its own Twitter account and everything. It's pretty impressive, actually. It's
the podcaster's worst nightmare. I lost a show that I recorded. It was real good, right, Chris?
It was a fantastic show. In fact, I was telling some people, I was like, you would have cried at several points. You would have cried, but you know what? Now you'll never know. And now we can make up anything we want about that podcast. Nobody will know.
It's the best one I ever did, and it's gone. Oh my gosh. Well, I'm excited that you went back to Disney World. It's pretty cool. A lot of our geeks that were at G3 in February, I'm seeing them down in the parks already. So glad.
Yeah, that's very true.
And you have a lovely wife, and I know that's who you went with on this trip, right?
I did. In fact, she got the invite for this Zoom as well in her email, but she's with her dad right now. He's actually having a medical procedure done up in St. Louis, so she's not even home. She's up there, but she was like, tell Kurt that I am so glad that he sent that invite to me too, because I would have loved to have done this trip report together. I was like, and Kurt would have loved it if you would have, but.
Oh, absolutely. Always welcome. I don't like to pressure people. I mean, there's a lot of people that just don't like the sound of their voice.
Right.
Heard that before, so no pressure, but would absolutely love to have her come on and meet her one of these days. We'll have good times. You got to bring her to G3, Chris.
Yeah, we're talking about it.
All right. Well, tell me, how many nights you just got back, like last week, right?
We did, yeah, about 4 days ago.
Very fresh. How many nights did you stay at the Disney World?
2. It was a very short trip. And how this trip came about, we had scheduled a cruise. My wife's birthday was yesterday. And so we had scheduled a cruise over this last weekend. And then when everything international started happening with the Ukraine and Russia and all that stuff, I was like, you know what? I really don't want to be out of the country right now. That just doesn't sound like a great place to be. So, I know it's calmed down a lot since but 2 months ago, it was still pretty volatile. So we canceled the cruise, and we had already had a couple pre-cruise days at Disney scheduled because neither her nor I have been to Flower and Garden. So we were wanting to get a couple days in there. And so when we canceled the cruise, we did not cancel the Disney portion. We're like, it's a short trip, but we'll go ahead and take it.
And where did you stay?
We stayed at Port Orleans Riverside.
And you flew down. So I'm looking at your notes, and you said you flew from St. Louis and you stayed overnight at the probably airport at a Holiday Inn.
Yeah, it's usually when we go to Disney, we leave pretty early. We want that first day to be a full day at the parks. So we usually get a park and fly in St. Louis. That way we don't have to pay for long-term parking at the airport. And we've used this particular Holiday Inn before, but this will be the last time that we have ever used it. It was downright sketchy. In fact, in the Geekin group, I actually posted a video called "'Twas the Night Before Disney," and it kind of showed some of the lounge was closed, the restaurant was closed, the elevators were out of service. We were on the 4th floor, so there were these like detour signs that took us back into the like hotel laundry to get to this service elevator. I mean, seriously, it was downright Tower of Terror kind of stuff.
It's reminding me of the Hollywood Studios Tower of Terror.
Oh, absolutely. In fact, once we got back to the hotel that night, because we had to leave to go get something to eat because the restaurant wasn't open. So when we got back, she went up to the room, and I went back down to the lobby and came back up that service elevator and recorded it. And when I got off that elevator, I was like, welcome back to those who made it. I mean, just going full Tower of Terror, because that's what it was. Really, really awful. And just for all their amenities to be down at once, it was just really, they weren't very professional. It was just, it'll be the last time we stay there. But we always like to stay at a park and fly. That way we can get a shuttle to the airport as early as we need and not have to worry about, because our airport in St. Louis is about 2.5 hours from our house. So for a 5 a.m. flight, that's getting up at 2 o'clock in the morning, and we really don't want to do that. So it just works out better if we stay in town.
Outstanding. Well, yeah, service industry is going to be slow to recover. And I think that's might be part of the issue that you're having there, Chris, at the Holiday Inn in St. Louis.
It is. Travel has just been really wonky over the last, little bit. No matter what it is, whether it's hotels, flights, I walk up to the counter. I'm like, how much do I owe you? They were like, just chip in for gas. That'll be fine. What are we doing here? Really? I mean, that's why we pretty much stick with Southwest. I mean, that's, we tend to have better experiences there. Plus they don't nickel and dime you for everything. And, your bags fly for free, and it just works out better.
That's what we do from Connecticut also.
Yeah.
I was just curious now from MCO, we talk about this a lot, as you know, that you got many options when you want to make it from the airport to your resort. And you used Lyft.
We do.
So we were talking about this on a Travel and Tierras episode recently, and I'm hearing different things. And I think I'm used to using Uber, so that's what I'm going to do. But I was just curious, why Lyft instead of anything else?
For the most part, it's because when you are in Orlando, time is money. Especially if it's a short trip. If you're there for 8 or 9 days, I can see taking Sunshine Flyer. Take your time, get there, lounge at the resort the rest of the day, whatever. But when you're just going to drop off your bags and hit the park, time is money, and you're not going to get anywhere quicker than a Lyft. I mean, you call, they're there within minutes. There's always Lyft drivers just circling MCO like vultures, and they're ready to hop on it whenever you are. So they'll get you there quick.
So do you prefer Lyft instead of Uber? Is that the reason why?
I do. Number one, the Lyft app is a little more user-friendly, I think, than the Uber app. I'm able to preload, which Uber has now fixed this too, where you can preload Uber Cash into your app. But Lyft was the first one to do that. And so I always had, usually I have about $100 on the Lyft app before I ever go down there. That way I'm covered from the airport and back. And then anytime I'm just really not wanting to take a bus, I can, just be able to get there as quickly as possible. Let's just keep it at that.
You're convincing me. I've not, I live kind of in a rural area. I don't use, my trip to New York City, and Samantha had to teach me, left me in the middle of New York City all by myself trying to figure this stuff out.
You keep saying that. You were across the street, Kurt. You were not by yourself. You were across the street. But
my
she's
sarcasm.
This, and she's already going to just be like, I did not do that.
Why do I tease her so badly? She treats me so well, and I tease her.
Well, she sometimes makes it easy.
She's such a sweetheart. All right. Well, Port Orleans, Riverside. Why'd you pick that one, Chris?
Mostly because we had never tried it.
That's a good reason.
Yeah. In fact, we've never really delved into the moderates. Now, I say that the last 2 times for G3, I've stayed at Grand Destino Tower, but really, is that a moderate? I mean, that's more like a deluxe at a moderate price tag. It's not really a moderate. I've never stayed in regular Coronado, the other rooms. I've never stayed at Caribbean Beach, never stayed at French Quarter, and this is our first time at Riverside. So I'm a bit of a completionist, and so I want to stay everywhere eventually, with the exception of a tent. I'm allergic to the outdoors. We probably won't do Fort Wilderness, but...
And you got horror stories from Glenn Kessler's trip report, I'm sure. You're an avid podcast listener, so I know you remember these things.
I do indeed, yes. Yeah, we wanted to stay at Riverside, and we both really liked it. It has its ups and downs, for sure. I know that Brandy would rather stay at Pop. I think number one for the Skyliner, number two for the transportation, just the multiple bus stops. It just makes things a little more difficult to get places and to get back from places. There's nothing worse than having a bus come to your bus stop and it's already full from the last stop and they can't take you, but they still pull up because they have to, and they have to stop there and then just look you in the eye and say, "Sorry, we're full." It's like, why are you being a creeper?
They have to explain. If they just drove by, people would be even, I guess, more mad.
They would, and I get why they do it, but it's still kind of useless when you already know they're not going to pick up anybody. But they are filling those buses. I mean, they will pack them on. They will keep moving to the back, keep moving. But the multiple bus stops were frustrating. Not knowing the resort, I've always heard, "Oh yeah, we love Port Orleans because it's so quaint and little." There's nothing little about it. We had to walk forever to get to the main building from Alligator Bayou where we were at. We were way out there by the very north bus stop. And I mean, it was a jog to get to the main building. And the rooms themselves we loved. We loved the rooms, the grounds, the theming of it. Seeing all that Spanish moss out there. I mean, it's almost like they just let that go unabated because it reminds you of, New Orleans. It really does, or that area anyway. The rooms were nicely appointed. Did not have any complaints there. Housekeeping this was really strange too. When I dropped off my bags at a value resort, I dropped them off, head to a park. When I come back, my bags are in the room. They did not do that here. You had to call, and they let you know that right up front. They were like, "When you get back tonight, call, and Bell Services will bring in." It was about 45 minutes before Bell Services got there with our bags. That was a little different. But because it's a moderate, I also requested a box fan, and that's one thing they won't do at a value. There's just too many rooms, I think. But if you request a fan at a moderate, they'll bring one to your room, which is kind of nice. I sleep with a fan, so. But yeah, the rooms were great. The grounds were beautiful. I love, even though we didn't have a river view, I love being out there by the Sassagoula River. It's a gorgeous area. Brandy said, "I don't know if I would stay here again, but I'd like to try French Quarter," because we did walk over there at one point too. And so she would like to try that. I think she liked the theming of the lobby and the gift shop and over there a little better, because there's not really heavy theming at Riverside other than the big watermill out front. The grounds are nice, but the main buildings themselves, not really a whole lot.
Yeah, I think French Quarter is everything that Port Orleans Riverside is without the size. Yeah.
No, you're right.
You need a GPS to get to the lobby.
You really did. We got lost several times looking for our room. I mean, it was those buildings out there, they're everywhere. I'm directionally challenged anyway, but my wife usually isn't. And even she got turned around a little bit trying to find, and we got off on the wrong bus stop the first time. And it was a challenge the first couple times we went there, but we eventually got the hang of it.
Very good. Any other things to say about the resort?
Well, they have a lot of great amenities there. As opposed to French Quarter, they do have a restaurant there, which we'll get to later when we hit
very soon.
The food. Yes, very soon. But the gift shop there was nice. It was big. And once again, this is something that you kind of get spoiled by if you're used to staying at Pop Century, because everything Pop is probably one of the best gift shops outside of a deluxe resort that you're going to see. It's better than all the moderates. It's better than all of the, I've been to the Coronado and the Caribbean Beach gift shop and now the Riverside, and nothing compares to how big that gift shop is at Pop Century and just how much stuff they have. So, that was, but it was still a good sized gift shop. The staff was very friendly. We had a very, very good staff. And then we ate at the restaurant. We went to River Roost. I got a funny story about that as well later on. But the amenities were nice there. Several times we saw the horse and carriage going around, and that just really added to it, especially when it's right there along the river. It's so picturesque. It's just beautiful.
Very unique in that respect. And I think the biggest advantage, Chris, to staying there is the ride on the boat down to Disney Springs. And I think you did a video of that, which I haven't seen it because I like the way you posted the title, like the Zen of Disney World or something like that.
I try and do that several times every trip, is to find something. Like one time I did the little fountain outside of the tiki room, and just where all the birds, the animatronic birds are in the big waterfall. And I just record a minute of that, and just your 1 minute of Disney Zen. I like doing those. So, but this one just was perfect for it. Yeah.
I like that. I think that, you talking about the Caribbean beach, and I've always loved staying there. I like the theme. I like Caribbean. I like the beach. Now with the Skyliner, boy, that really gives that one a little extra to the Caribbean, because that was always the last in polls, I think, for the moderates.
Mm-hmm.
And because you got this boat ride down to Disney Springs, that is a big differentiator, right? Did you enjoy that going down there?
I absolutely love that. Now, it's not for the time conscious person,
right?
Because it takes a while.
For sure.
It's a very slow and relaxing boat ride, but that's kind of what we were all about, was a slow and relaxing boat ride. It was great.
Well, if you want to try all the resorts, you got to try everything those places have to offer, right?
Absolutely.
So you got to understand what's happening at all these places. I can't wait till you stay at Caribbean Beach and compare the two. I think I don't know. It'd be an interesting comparison now.
Yeah, because it's pretty huge too.
You got the same bus issue with them, going all over the place, but you got the Skyliner that takes away two of the bus trips from Epcot and other studios.
Yeah.
And absolutely. You walk over to Riviera now too, which is an outstanding resort to check out. But all right, we are getting too far away from food, and we don't want that to happen, Chris.
Yeah, we really are.
Because I know you're a foodie. Let's get into this. So he sends me all kinds of pictures. He's got one of him and his wife and 32 pictures of food. So we know where the priorities are, right, Chris?
Yeah. We love the food. We love to experience new things, and we did a lot of new stuff. I mean, we did almost everything we did was stuff we had never done before. Hey,
before we get into that, though, tell me your wife, what's her love of Disney World?
Well, she's the one who got me into Disney World.
I didn't know that.
When we got married, which it's been over 7 years ago now, but when we got married, after we'd been married a few months, she was like, now, we started talking about, you want to do a vacation? And we planned a trip to the Smokies, the place in Tennessee that everybody goes, Gatlinburg. And we were going to get a cabin down there, and we did. But she was like, now, eventually we're going to have to go to Disney because we're kind of Disney people. I was like, you know what? I haven't been to Disney since I was 12. It was 1986. So I'd be all right with doing that. And here was my thing. I was like, I enjoy Six Flags. So yeah, let's do Disney, thinking it was a similar proposition, which it certainly was not.
I've heard, I didn't know that until my friend Simple Joe Joe Taylor from the Simple Joe podcast said that to me. Now that rings in my ear all the time. People really think Disney World is going to be like a big Six Flags. Right.
And you really, especially once you get a little older, you understand the difference between an amusement park and a theme park. And there was just, there was really no comparison. Yes, Six Flags actually has more thrilling rides than what Disney World has. I get that.
Right.
If that's all you're about, then Universal probably more your speed than what Disney would be. But there is no comparison when it comes to just immersion into different lands, into the architecture, into the details. There's just there's nothing like it. Nothing like it. And when we went in 2016 for the first time, first time for me in 30 years, I was like, oh my gosh, I need to do this more. And so we did it a lot more. We've done it a lot since then. So, she was the Disney person, and she created a monster. Now I've well surpassed her in Disney nerddom. But it is what it is. She's always because sometimes I'm I clear my browser history more than a 16-year-old boy. I was like, just because I'm like, oh God, I'm embarrassed. I've been to all these Disney sites. And she was like, you know what? You can have a lot worse habits than that. So yeah. I'm okay with that.
So
yeah, she loves it too.
I just so much hope she can come to a G3. I'd love to meet her. Get my wife down there too. Who am I talking?
Yeah, I've still never met Margarita.
No, I know. This whole COVID thing kind of put a...
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely made those plans different. All right, Trattoria Al Forno. What made you pick that one? I'm a big fan of that place, but breakfast, lunch, dinner, what are you doing?
It was dinner, and we were looking for a place on the first night we were there. We were at Epcot that day, so I kind of wanted to stay somewhat close. So I did not want to be the emperor of this trip. I was like, okay, I named about 5 or 6 places that I've been wanting to try. And I was like, go ahead and pick one of these. I've never been to any of them. This is the one she picked. She likes Italian as well as me. And I was like, it's a good choice. This is one of the places I've never been. I did not go during G3 for the breakfast or anything.
Okay.
You had to pick and choose on G3 because there were so many events. It was like, if I go to everywhere, I'm going to have to add another $500 to the G3 budget. And I just can't do that. So you pick and choose,
Yeah.
And so that was one of the ones that got left out. So I was excited to try it. We went there, and now before we got there, we went to Abracadabra, which is right next door. Now, we did go there for G3. That was part of the Quest for Geek and Glory. So I remember being there, and this experience was way better than what it was at G3. I think maybe because it was a Saturday afternoon during the G3, but it was so packed. The server was very harried almost. I mean, he was just kind of frazzled, about...
You don't have to tell me. My whole group did a disappearing act at Abracadabra, so I lost my group. They disappeared.
But, my experience there was like, I could take it or leave it. We had a much better experience there this time. The server was outstanding. We both had great drinks. I had a Magic Hatton. Big shock there. Chris has a Manhattan. Right. But then my wife had what's called a whodunit punch. And it had a lot of coconut and spiced rum and different stuff in it. So it was very, very good. Both drinks were good. The service was excellent. Plus the atmosphere there is just neat. We were on a couch, and with a little coffee table in front of us. And, it was nice. Plus it's right next door to the restaurant. So, we kind of went in there while we were waiting. And then we ended up going into Trattoria. It's one of those places that has an open kitchen, which I love. Ever since we had California Grill for the first time and had that open kitchen there is an energy to places like that you're just not going to find anywhere else.
Well, you know what? All right, we're going to diverge a little bit because I love that too. And you did Flying Fish. Now, everyone would have heard this if I didn't lose your podcast episode. But tell me, you went to Flying Fish like right after they opened, right?
I did. Well, I went to Flying Fish right before G3, the day before all the festivities really started. I had just a solo trip out there to Flying Fish. Loved it. Food was great. Once again, an open kitchen. And when you have that, it's just, you see the hustle and bustle of the kitchen. You see the food being prepared fresh. All the servers and the cooks just have a energy about them that is just unbelievable. Yeah. And so Trattoria was the same way. I was very impressed with the atmosphere. Our server was excellent. For the most part, your service is going to be excellent when you're in Disney. They do a very good job at hiring people who are just real professionals. Now, I know in the last couple of years, it's been tougher. They've kind of had
to say the least.
Yeah, take what they can get in some points. But we started off with the crispy pancetta arancini. I like arancini. It's like Italian rice balls that are deep fried that have cheese in the middle. It's it's fantastic. And I will say, I did not like the arancini as much as I did Il Mulino. And we did Il Mulino in December of 2020 when it was just Brandy and I. We did Il Mulino, and their arancini was the best I've ever had. But this was good. Their red sauce was very interesting. most Italian restaurants have a red sauce that is like a really deep red, and it's it has a little bit of a kick to it. This was a very creamy red sauce. It was almost orange.
Okay.
It was almost like it had some kind of a cream base mixed in with it, but it was very, very good. I prefer a spicy red sauce, but I prefer everything spicy. I would put jalapenos in my Cheerios in the morning if I could get away with it without getting weird looks. But it was still very good. The arancini was excellent. Now, Brandy got the truffle gnocchi. She really enjoyed that. She can do that, and I don't know how. It makes me baffled at people like Bubba Mac and Sam Kuhn who can go in someplace and order food and not get meat. I just don't understand it. I need meat with my meal. But she got the truffle gnocchi and she loved it. She was like, it's a potato pasta. It had a light truffle mushroom sauce on it. She just thought it was fantastic.
Hey, we promised we're not going to pick on Samantha the whole podcast, right?
Not the whole one. No. I may give her a break here for about 10 minutes. Well, let's not get crazy. It may not end here, but
well, I can't promise everything.
I had the lasagna al forno. I'm one of those people. If I'm going to a restaurant, I'll usually go on YouTube and watch a bunch of video reviews for those places. And it seemed like every review I watched, somebody got the lasagna, and it just looked outstanding. And it was excellent.
I saw a picture of that. I know. Oh, wow. Yeah.
It was very, very original. It was built up almost like a chimney in the middle. I mean, the way the pasta was framed up and the sauce was good. The meat on the inside, it was 3 different meats that were in there. It was excellent. No complaints there. And now, since I've had bariatric surgery, I never finish a meal anymore. So I had to leave a good portion of it. And we're not going to take it back to the room. We got too much stuff going on. So, I hate to leave that on the table. I feel like I'm just wasting money sometimes. But, if it's good food and I enjoy what I'm eating, then for me, it's worth it. So
you have to enjoy every morsel now because of your weight loss. True. And, absolutely. I just want you to know you're absolutely killing me. I've been doing good for about 7 weeks here on my own weight loss journey, but this podcast is going to kill me. I haven't eaten
podcasts are going to kill you. It's not like you don't talk about food for 30, 40 minutes with everybody who comes on. I mean, you do it to yourself. It's self-imposed.
You're not going to hold back, are you, Chris?
No, I'm not. I'm not at all.
This is part of my training, though. I need to have. All right.
It builds up your immunity. Yes.
I have to build up my immunity. Boatwright's Dining Hall. Well, I'm so glad. So you like Trattoria al Forno,
we did.
Right? I'm glad.
That was a big thumbs up.
I'm like, perfect because you're right near. I love that you did your bar over at Abracadabra, and then it's right there and on the boardwalk. It's a great location. I'm sure you went into Epcot afterwards, so you had that all figured out.
Oh yeah,
your first day. And all right, fantastic. I love that choice because a lot of people don't even know the boardwalk's over there.
No, our trip in 2016, we were there for a week. We never set foot on the boardwalk. It's just not something that that really was on our radar at that time. But the more videos I watched and the more podcasts I listened to, I was like, I need to get over there and see some stuff. So
outstanding.
It was great.
And I'm excited, because Boatwright's over, it's at a resort that's kind of out of the way. You're not going to go there unless you're a geek and know that
we're staying there. Yeah.
We're staying there. You're not going to try it. So Boatwright's keeps coming up on my podcast, but go ahead. I'm curious what you had there.
Okay, so Boatwright's was our second night, and we had went to Hollywood Studios that day, and we had planned on hopping over to Magic Kingdom that evening since Magic Kingdom was open till 11.
Oh, nice.
It just kind of made sense, but we scheduled our meal in the middle, and I was like, we can go back and kind of head back to the room, maybe freshen up a little bit. When you're there in the middle of May, it's hot, it's humid, and deodorant's a good thing. So go get a second application. And then that was when we actually walked to the main building to figure out exactly how long it was. And so I was like, well, yeah, it's a walk. Mm-hmm. So we went to Boatwright's. It's right there at Port Orleans Riverside. It's just attached to the main lobby. It did not take us long to get in. Service was good. Both nights, and I want to say this, if you're not real happy with your time of your dining, look to modify it at the last second.
Yeah.
When we originally had Trattoria al Forno scheduled for 6:20, well, we were hungry at 5 o'clock. And so I went in and started looking and refreshing the app, and sure enough, I found a 5:20 and ended up modifying it, and then just walked in and said, "Hey, we're here."
Yep.
And so we did the exact same thing at Boatwright's the next day.
Pro tip right there. That is so common, right, Chris?
Yeah, absolutely.
Is that because you already had the reservation, or
no, I think it's because that last 24 hours before your meal, there are so many people canceling to avoid the fee of having a no-show fee.
Yeah.
So a lot of people, well, let's be honest here. A lot of people are jerks, and they'll schedule 3 meals for one night while they're deciding what they want to eat.
That's exactly right.
But then they'll all cancel it 24 hours before. So all of a sudden, a bunch of times will open up. And so we were able to modify and slide that back and get in there pretty quickly. So
I want to know, what do you think are my chances of getting a Space 220 last minute?
Oh, you know what? I have a client who was trying to get a California grill and try to get an earlier time. And man, 24 hours beforehand, I got blown up. And Cali grill is not exactly an easy one to get either. So maybe. I'm not going to give you a percentage, but it can definitely happen.
It's fun to try, right?
It is. Stalk the app. That's really how you do it. So we went to Boatwright's that evening. We did not have an appetizer that night because we had some snacks not too far before then. But we ended up going with, she went with the General Fulton's prime rib. And I went with Boatwright's jambalaya. That's kind of what they're known for. It's definitely that style of food, Cajun Creole food. And so they had a lot of like jambalaya and gumbo and different things like that on the menu. Yeah. So I wanted to try jambalaya. I will say our experience with Boatwright's was pretty neutral. I would not give it 2 thumbs up. I would not also give it 2 thumbs down. Honestly, I was already pretty skeptical when we ordered our food and we ordered a couple drinks, and the drinks did not beat the food out. The food was out in 7 minutes. A medium prime rib and the jambalaya. 7 minutes from the time we put in the order. Now, Boatwright's didn't even open till 5. And we were there at 5:20. So I don't think it was sitting under a heat lamp forever. I mean, it didn't taste like that, but still, how do you get it prepared that quickly?
They bring it in on a rope?
Yeah, I don't know. But both of us thought our meals were good. Okay. They were not great. Pre-surgery, Chris would have been very salty about the amount of food. It was not a huge portion. And normally at Disney, that's not something you have to worry about. Usually the portion sizes everywhere are just huge.
For sure.
They do not usually skimp on you. But this was, and part of it was perhaps the huge plate they brought it on, so it looked even smaller than what it was. And this is post-surgery, Chris, so I still wasn't able to finish it. But either way, it did not look like a lot of food. So be prepared for that if you get the jambalaya, that it's not going to just be a huge, monstrous meal.
You know why that description is interesting to me, Chris, and it will be to you, because remember the service at Yeehaw Bob we had that night?
Yeah.
Well, that was exceptionally horrific. I mean, I didn't care because I was like, I'll have a Coke, and if I might have a second Coke, so I didn't care. But some of the people we were with were trying to order drinks, and it just wasn't happening.
No, I remember.
We overwhelmed them.
Yeah, and apparently I wasn't the only one who remembered. We'll get to that here in just a second. Yeah, this was just the opposite problem. Instead of being incredibly slow, it was incredibly quick. And
your drinks came after, though. Maybe it's the same bar.
That was it was. That's where they get their drinks from River Roost. Yeah, they go next door to get them. So
they haven't fixed that problem yet.
And the drinks really didn't come that slow. I mean, it was probably 9 minutes to get the drink, which is not incredibly awful.
They might have some food already started there.
And I'm sure they do, especially the more popular stuff. I'm sure a lot of people get the jambalaya.
I love prime rib, but I'm actually with is New Orleans known for prime rib?
Yeah, well, I don't know, and she wondered the same thing before she ordered it. And like I said, she was happy with it. She was like, it was good, it was good. We won't rush back to go back there. If we're not staying there, we probably wouldn't go back there.
Disney's beef is very good. I mean, I always said I'd love to be the salesman for the beef at Disney World. But I've always had a good piece of meat. But,
yeah, no, I agree. So, the times I've had steaks, they've always been pretty decent when it comes to that. But I'm
not the foodie that you are, so I'm easily pleased. I'm easily pleased, but still, I don't know. When we were there at G3, Chris, you probably heard me say this because you listen to everything I say. Everything was so tender. I mean, I was like, the ham I had, the steaks I had, whatever I ate was tender.
That was your G3 word. You're right.
I don't know. It just stuck out to me. You always have a theme for your trip, right?
All right. There could be worse themes. Yeah.
I love my Disney World.
We had, it was actually pretty amusing. We had a family that we go to church with that we're pretty good friends with. I mean, we go out to eat with these people sometimes, and like I said, we've had this trip planned for months because it was our pre-cruise trip. But this family about 3 weeks ago said, hey, man, we're going to do a last-minute trip down to Disney, and we're going to be there, and they told me what week they were going to be there. And I was like, you realize we're going to be there at the same time. So we did spend some time with this other family, which was really neat.
Oh, that's
we got
cool.
to see them.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Nice. Yeah, during this trip. But we were waiting for them. They were coming to meet us at Port Orleans that night before we went to Magic Kingdom. While we were waiting, we walked next door to River Roost. Of course, it's early, so Yeehaw Bob's not out there. I mean, it's just a little bar at that point. But we sit down. I order a Sazerac, which is kind of their version of a Manhattan. I think Brandy ordered just a vodka cranberry. And we're sitting there just talking, and the server comes over, and we did not have the same server. This guy was very good, but what was really scary is, and this is crazy. He walked up and he was like, how are the drinks? I was like, oh, very good. He was like, that's good. He was like, nobody's spitting on you tonight, right? I was like, what? He was like, oh, dude, I never forget a beard like that. He was like, you're part of those Disney nerds, right? I was like, well, geeks, yes. And I mean, I could not believe.
You're kidding me.
That I got recognized from G3. And that was February, and I was flipping out. And I was like, oh my God. He was like, I still remember that. I was like, I never saw what happened. He was like, I remember seeing you in the floor at one point. And I was like, yeah, that was us. So he was like, well, you better behave tonight. And then just walked away. I mean, he was just joking with, but I could not believe that he recognized us.
So he wasn't our server then?
No, he wasn't. He was just somebody who was in fact, I think he was one of the bartenders that night.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's all he could be. What else could he have been?
Yeah.
I mean, wow.
Yeah, it was, I was pretty impressed.
That's hilarious.
And shocked. My wife was like, only you could go somewhere 3 months later to a place that he's probably seen 20,000 people since you, and he remembered.
Was she impressed then of your fame?
Yeah. Baldy McSkunkbeard, right? And you just remember the beard. So, but that was kind of a neat experience.
I love that. That's fantastic. We're famous, Chris.
Yeah, we're famous.
Infamous.
Infamous. Yeah, you're right. So we only had one other ADR over the trip. That was the next day. That was at Disney Springs, and we went to Chef Art Smith's homecoming.
First time?
First time.
All right. So
had never been there. And this was I battled with this reservation because our flight that evening left at 7:00. The only time, and on 60 days, and this was actually, since it's our third day in, it was 62 days out. The only time I could get was 3:00. So I'm like, 3, Okay, take an hour to eat, 4, but we got to go back to the resort and get our luggage and then get a lift to the airport. It's a Friday evening at MCO. I was like, it's going to be crazy. So of course I had alerts set up in mouse dining and touring plans, trying to find an earlier time. And there were several times in the last couple of weeks I've gotten woken up in the middle of the night by a text. An earlier time's come up, and by the time I get on, somebody else has already snagged it. I mean, it's an adrenaline rush sometimes trying to get some of those ADRs.
Somebody from Indonesia beat you to
yeah, they did too. But 2 days before the trip, actually 1 day before the trip, it was the night we were staying in St. Louis, I got a 1 o'clock reservation for Chef Artsmith. I was able to modify it, get it down to 1 o'clock. All the stress was gone.
Yeah.
Off of that, so that was great. The only bad part was I canceled our Boma breakfast that morning because of that. I was like, you can't have breakfast at 9 o'clock and then have lunch at Art Smith's at 1. It's just, exactly.
I'm sad
there's no
for you.
way we would have been hungry,
Yeah. That is a tough deal right there.
Right.
Boma for breakfast.
Exactly. I've been to Boma breakfast before, so I tossed it around for a long time in my head before I was like, we're just going to cancel it. Number one, it'll make the morning a lot more relaxed.
Yeah.
That was the day we ended up walking over to French Quarter and getting beignets for breakfast. And so, we just got to do stuff that we normally wouldn't do. So, so anyway.
Well, before you say anything, I just want you to know, I get mixed reviews from Chef Art Smith's Homecoming. I enjoy it, but I got to tell you, I'm surprised. I get a lot of mixed reviews, so I'm really curious to hear your professional opinion.
It has encroached into my top 5 of all Disney World restaurants.
Get out of here.
It was fantastic.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear that.
Oh, so good.
Oh, good.
And you know what?
I love hearing that.
I'm from Southern Illinois, so I've had good fried chicken. But the seasoning that they put on that breading for that chicken, it was not thick. It was not overly, it was so good, so well seasoned. The fried green tomato appetizer was out of this world.
Oh, I'm so glad.
That arugula salad
loving this
they had
review.
on it. Yeah, the arugula salad they had on it, that aioli they put on it, and then that prosciutto ham. It gave that the tart tomatoes, that saltiness of that ham, just paired perfect. It was like little happiness in every bite. It was so good.
I'm loving you, dude. I'm loving this.
As soon as we got like halfway through the appetizer, Brandy looked at me. She was like, "We're coming back here." Of course, that could have been the rum shine punch talking, but
that doesn't hurt.
That doesn't hurt. That's for sure. But we actually had that. We split the appetizer and we split the chicken. The meals there are so monstrously huge, and we did not leave hungry. In fact, we couldn't even finish everything on the plate.
It's a Southern kitchen. Why should you leave hungry, dude?
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And Mama's serving up Southern fried chicken.
It was so good because we went in there knowing we were going to share the appetizer. We knew we were going to share the meal, and we were fully intending upon having dessert. Either the hummingbird cake or the shine cake, one of the two, because I've heard good things about both.
Right.
There was just no way. There was no way.
No dessert?
No, couldn't do it. I was like, oh my God, I'm just so stuffed.
I'm even more impressed. Well, what'd you have to drink?
Yeah, the drinks there were great. I had an Elder old fashioned. It was outstanding. I cannot seem to make an old fashioned at home that tastes like that. I had the right ingredients. I just don't know how to do it the way they do it. So it was fantastic. And Brandy had the rum shine punch, which is one of their shine drinks. It's probably one of the more popular ones. So good. So good.
Well, this makes me so happy.
Yeah, it was terrific. We will definitely be doing that one again.
I'm so glad you had a good experience there because, I just know how much you like your food.
I did. And it was one of those things where for me, it's very, very hard to go to Disney Springs and not go to Raglan Road. If I'm like, well, we got one meal in Disney Springs, I'm just like, how can we go anywhere other than Raglan Road?
What is it you like about Raglan Road?
Oh, everything.
Really?
We love Raglan. And their Shepherds to Die For pie, Oh,
You're killing me.
That red wine reduction with the veal. Oh,
I've had to beg to go to Raglan Road, my wife.
so good. And their Gers bread pudding, bread and butter pudding. Oh my gosh.
Hey, I got to ask you. I don't know why I was thinking of this, but between you and Glenn and a couple of others, Brandon have talked me into all these whiskey drinks.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the Manhattans and all this stuff. And because of Brandon, I tried the sweet tea Manhattan. Was it Manhattan? What's the other?
Was that at Polite Pig?
At Polite Pig.
Yes.
Have you gone over there yet?
That's a sweet tea old fashioned. I have not been there yet. No.
Oh, dude. Oh my gosh. All right.
We passed it at one point. And I know.
I know
we
hard.
need to try that place.
I know how hard it is. You don't have to tell me. It escaped me for a long time. You don't have to apologize, but
yeah,
I want you over there and just check out the bar and the food, and we got to do it together. I would love to do it. You and Glenn and Brandon, the whole gang. All right. I'm so glad. These were great ADRs.
Oh, they were. And for only having three, I mean, you know, we picked three pretty good ones. Even Boat Rides, which wasn't like outstanding. Yeah. It was still, we were both really glad that we tried it. So, all right. No complaints there. So
we're not done with food yet, people. No, we got we're only halfway done. Quick service.
Yeah, the quick service. We didn't do a whole lot of quick service when it comes to just restaurants. We did basically two. We did try Yorkshire County Fish Shop. I'd never had the fish shop there at Epcot. And I give it a big meh.
Thank you. I'm not disappointed in this because I don't know why people rave about it.
Oh my gosh. The fish itself inside was good. It was really good, but there was so much breading. It was like fish cooked into a funnel cake. I mean, it was so much breading and it was so greasy. I felt like if I would have just twisted it and wrung it out, I could have got a half cup of grease out of it. It was very fresh. It was very hot. It did not taste bad. It was just so much breading. And I'm probably a lot more sensitive to that now that I've had bariatric surgery. All that breading probably did. At one point, I was digging the fish out of the middle because the fish was good. The fries were good. I like the thick cut steak fries a lot better than the shoestring or thin fries. So, but yeah, I won't be hurrying back to Yorkshire County.
So Kevin Curtis Allen is jumping up like this. He's just jumping up for joy right now for this report.
Yes,
everyone else in our community is hating you right now. So
maybe, but I'm with Kevin on this one. Plus, as Kevin would say, it's not the full fillet. It's not proper. The full fillet.
It's proper.
So,
it's not proper.
No mushy peas. No. But
all right.
Probably won't hurry back to that one.
One and done.
Yeah. Now, when we went to Hollywood Studios, we always go to ABC Commissary, at least the last few trips, because they just, it's elevated quick service really when it comes to that park. It's not your standard bacon cheeseburgers and chicken fingers.
That is the most improved quick service restaurant on the entire property as far as I'm concerned.
On the last trip we went, we tried something different. We went to Toy Story Land and went to Woody's Lunchbox. I really enjoyed what I got there, the tachos. Yeah. We had to stand up and eat it. There's no seating, and it's all outside and not in the shade. It was awful. I was like, when I'm taking a break in the middle of the day to eat, I want to sit, and I really want to sit in air conditioning.
I just recorded with the Traveling Tierras last night. You're going to hear it if you listen Thursday. You're going to hear the exact same report you just said.
Yeah, no, it was, but we went back to ABC Commissary this time. Normally I get the pork or the shrimp tacos. This time I got the buffalo chicken grilled cheese because Brandon loves it so much. He was like, "You've got to try this." And it was really good. Yeah. It's not too spicy, but they do give you the buffalo sauce on the side where you can dip. And so I know how much Kurt loves his dipping sauces. So, that's a good one there.
I love how you know me.
Yeah. So we enjoyed that. And then the other traditional quick service we went to is Scat Cats over at the French Quarter. And we went there for beignets. We were in line and she was like, "Are you going to get the 3?" I was like, "I was going to get 6." She was like, I was like, "All right, I'll get 3. We'll split it. And if we want more, we can always get more." We didn't even finish the 3. They were very good, but Once again, I can't do a lot of bread. So I had one of them, and she couldn't eat the full two on the other.
Dip it in anything, or is it just
the strawberry sauce? Yeah. When I was asking at Riverside, when I was asking the lady how the quickest way to get to French Quarter walking, she told me, and then she was like, "If you're going there for beignets, get the strawberry sauce. It's really good." So we did, and it was good. Brandy says she wished she had gotten some caramel too. She really likes caramel, so I'm sure that would have been just as good.
I love how the cast members said that to you. That is like, yeah, that's
we had some great cast member interactions this time.
I love that.
We did.
They should know what their favorite things are in those.
Yeah, absolutely.
They need to definitely try.
And I had several cast members who, when I asked, like, being at Riverside, never having been there several times, I needed directions on how to get somewhere. And instead of just pointing, they took me every time. They would be like, "Follow me." And that's excellent service. I know I work in a hospital, and when I run into patients down on the ground floor, hey, we're always told to do that too. Don't just tell them where the elevator, walk them down there. So that's just something we do to provide good service.
I'm going to take a little commercial break here and talk about, my dad had 2 knee surgeries that he was so anxious to do for so many years. He suffered with knee pain. And I know you've had issues with your legs, knees, right, too?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'll even tell you what hospital it was, the St. Francis in Hartford. And it's right near where I work. It was like Disney experience. I was so impressed with the service from the security guards early in the morning who ushered us to the surgery department, from the nurses to the doctors. You could tell that they were trained in service.
There's a word for that, and it's called culture.
Yeah.
And we do it at our hospital, and I'll tell you what, we do it in our church. We always have a saying, 5-star experience. It is excellence in all departments. That's what we aim for. We are always aiming for 5 stars.
You're so right. You can create a culture if you focus on it. And I said to the receptionist, I said, because I came back later to pick up my dad, and I said to her, I said, I do a podcast on Disney World. We talk about the service all the time. I just want to tell you, from every level of my experience today, from the security to the receptionist to the doctors to the nurses, every single person was attentive and just so focused on service. And she said, my dad's such a country bumpkin. She was talking about the things that he was saying, his sayings and stuff. And we're in a big kind of city hospital. And I was just like, thank you. Because this was a really traumatic experience for him. And you guys made him feel comfortable. So thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I don't know how I got off on that, but how are your legs anyway in this Disney World experience?
It's not bad. As long as I wear my knee brace, I'm okay.
All right.
I can pretty much walk through. In fact, I deal more with sore feet than I do sore knees.
Don't we all?
Yeah. But since I found some really, really good shoes, I don't even deal with that much anymore.
But with your weight loss, has it improved like tremendously?
It has. Well, I mean, weight loss doesn't cure arthritis, unfortunately, but it will certainly take a lot of pressure off of that,
Yeah, I'm glad to hear.
Yeah. So,
all right.
That was good.
We're going to move into our third segment of the food segment, which is flower and garden booths.
Yeah. Now we didn't kill flower and garden the way we were hoping to, but we did pretty good. We nailed quite a few booths. The first booth we hit was Mexico. We tend to go clockwise, so we hit Mexico first.
Is there another way to go?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. A lot of people say there are, but
no,
I don't buy it. You gotta go to Mexico first. But we had the tostada de chorizo. And I did not know until I got on the app yesterday, when I am researching this, that it was plant-based chorizo. I thought this was regular chorizo. So considering the fact that it fooled me, a carnivore, 100% carnivore, that means it was pretty good. So that whenever they have a tostada there, or their signature offering at the Mexico booth, to me is always the belle of the ball. I really like Latin foods, Mexican food. So that's always going to be a winner for me, but it seems like they always bring it with that. And it was the plant-based chorizo. It had black beans on a corn tortilla with avocado mousse and queso fresco. So it was kind of spicy, but it also very refreshing with that very lightly whipped mousse of avocado. And because it wasn't a guacamole. I mean, it was just a very lightly whipped avocado mousse. And then the queso fresco, of course, is also just so refreshing. So you put that on there and it's just a perfect, it gives it a great aftertaste after it's gone down. So we did that in Mexico.
So would you say Samantha Kuhn would enjoy this?
Yeah, I don't know if she does spice, but if she does, yeah, I think she'd like it.
I think she does. Yeah. So there you go, Samantha. Shout out to you.
Second booth we hit was China, and we got the house-made cheesy crab wontons. And really, that is just a fancy way of saying it was crab rangoon, which is basically what it was. And it was good. It wasn't any better, I don't think, than any crab rangoon I get at a Chinese restaurant back home.
Hey, Chris, why do they find a new name real fancy for some common things?
Oh, I know. They had to give it like 19 syllables. And you wait till I get to France. That's ridiculous. But,
yes, French. French. I love how they do this, though. It's part of the fun, I think.
Yeah, it is. They also we got a Kung Fu Punch there, and it was Smirnoff vodka, triple sec, mango, OJ, and soda water. And it was good. The mango and the OJ together kind of gave it a grapefruit type taste, but it was good. It was very refreshing. We enjoyed that. We hit Germany next, and we got the toasted pretzel bread. Now it was topped with Black Forest ham and melted Gruyere cheese. This sounded a lot better than it tasted. Okay. It wasn't bad, but it just wasn't. When I looked at it, like Black Forest ham, Gruyere cheese, I was like, "Oh, a pretzel bread? How can you go wrong?" It was kind of bland. It was good, but wouldn't rush back for that one. We stopped at the American Adventure. We did not get food there, but we did get the Bayou cocktail, which was spiced rum, coconut rum, fruit punch, and OJ. It had a very almost Bahama Mama type taste to it. And really, their whole booth was really catered after the Deep South and Creole. They had like some clams on there. They had oysters. They had, a seafood boil. It was very much that kind of food. And this kind of went along with it because it was very close to a hurricane.
I'm all about that.
Yeah. It was the stuff on it looked good, but we had just eaten at 3 different booths, so we kind of took a pause on that one for a bit. We waited until we got around to France before we ate again, and we got the croissant au fromage de chèvre, herbes et rôti. That is a lot. That's a mouthful to say it was a goat cheese croissant, which that's what it was. It had garlic and herbs on it, but it was a goat cheese croissant. And it was good.
That's the difference between Americans and the French.
Yeah. They really gave it a fancy name.
It's okay. I kind of love, and I'm not even going to pick on the French on this, but I know Kevin, relax. I'm not going to pick on because all the booths do this. I love how they have like 25 adjectives for each entree.
They do it on every single one of them.
I love it.
But France tends to do it even up more than, and for what it was like putting a gun rack in a Pinto. I mean, it really was. I mean, let's dress this up.
I love it.
But at any rate, it was good.
I'm excited we're going to be there towards the end of Flower and Garden. We'll be there early part of June. And, I don't always partake in all the booths, but I'm willing to try.
Yeah, that's kind of how we were. We did not plan a quick service lunch that day. We were just going to say, hey, we'll pick and choose what we want at the booths. And,
it's fun. Well, especially with your small stomach.
The small plates are more.
This works
suited.
well for you. Yeah,
it did. In fact, my biggest disappointment for Flower and Garden was the refreshment port, which is not a booth. It's there year round. But the refreshment port in Canada got rid of their blood orange Cosmopolitan. And I had talked this thing up to everybody in our party, the family that was with us and my wife. I talked it up and it was not there. They had changed it out to something else that did not look appetizing.
Don't you hate when they do that?
I really do. I was hoping that since it wasn't a festival booth that they would have kept that, because I know they keep the poutine there all year. So why wouldn't they? But
this is probably my biggest pet peeve of Disney World.
I know. As soon as you find something you like,
why do they change things?
Yank the rug out from under you.
And then it'll come back. And you're like, what is going on here? I don't know. That is my biggest frustration.
So other than the Yorkshire County Fish Shop, when it comes to snacks, we really didn't get a whole lot of snacks, but the biggest disappointment we had was the jumbo pretzel in Germany at Summerfest.
Really?
This thing was hard. It was, they didn't serve you any kind of like beer cheese sauce or anything with it. I mean, they had like little packets of French's mustard if you wanted it. And I was like,
not acceptable. Not acceptable.
We got that for Harmonious. I ran over there because we watched it from Japan, which we'll get to later too. Now in Magic Kingdom, when we were there, we were not hungry. But there was no line at the spring roll cart. How often are you going to see the spring roll cart with no line?
And because you're in our geekdom, is like required.
There was no choice. Even Brandy said that. She was like, Chris, there's no line. We gotta stop. I know you're not hungry. I'm not hungry. We're going to get one anyway, though, because there's no line.
It's the geeking law.
It is. It's the way. It's the way we do. So we did get those, and they were as good as always.
Good.
Cheeseburger spring rolls are good. So
what was the other choice besides the cheeseburger?
It was the pastrami, I think.
Oh, still?
Yeah, they still have that one.
From February. Remember they used to change it up every month. I don't know what's going on.
And I don't think they do it monthly anymore, because I remember like in December, I think they had the pizza ones. I don't remember. But at any rate,
all right. Cheeseburger's good.
Yeah, they were good. And then other than that, we did finally make it to Gideon's.
All right.
My goal was to either make Gideon's or Salt and Straw, the new ice cream shop. I wanted to do one or the other. We're going to try to do both because we had one Disney Springs day, and it was kind of a shortened day since we had our flight that evening. So we went to sign up for the virtual queue, but it was early enough. They said we don't really have one yet. It's still a standby line right now. And they said it would be 45 minutes. So we waited in the line. It actually only ended up being about 30. So we got in.
That's legit.
Yeah. We got a couple cookies. We got the original chocolate chip, the OG, and then the peanut butter swirl cookie, and then the peanut butter cold brew. The peanut butter cold brew was better than the cookies. The cookies were fine, but they're cookies. I mean, they're not going to change your life. They're,
I like them, though. I like the big, thick. They're unique.
They are unique, and they taste good, but that peanut butter cold brew was so different, and it was just excellent. It is someplace that I definitely want to take my daughter. She is into anime. She's into like supernatural and that kind of stuff. And this aesthetic of Gideon's, she would absolutely love. In fact, we showed her pictures. She was like, I want to work there when I get 16. I was like, but I think you would love to work there when you get. So it was a really neat place. We bought her a candle from in there. It was a coffee cake candle. Smells. It'll drive you mad. It smells so good. We enjoyed the experience there. That was nice.
So this peanut butter cold brew comes up all the time, Chris. So
I know it does. That's why we tried it. Otherwise, I don't know if
I know why you tried it. You don't have to tell me because I know you, and you've heard this a million times. So it delivered. It did.
It was very good.
Wow.
We only got one, and we were kind of fighting over it a little bit. So
you almost got divorced over the peanut butter cold brew
I wouldn't say that.
Well, Chris, that was a fantastic roundup of all of the food and snacks. I had no doubt. Let's finish up with some of your first-time experiences.
Well, for such a short trip, we had quite a few. I had quite a few. Anyway, I had never done the Frozen sing-along at Hollywood Studios. I had heard so much about it, about the historians and how funny they are and all this stuff. But when they had that planned for G3. It was exactly the same time as Sangria University. And I was off doing that adventure. So, and I do not regret that. But that being said, the Frozen sing-along is hysterical. In fact, my wife had said afterwards, that was one of my favorite experiences was watching you. She was talking about me, watching you during that show, because I was just giggling. I mean, those historians are great. They pull in so many pop culture references and current events and pull it into the story. And it was terrific.
They're such ad-libbers and actors. If you appreciate talent, you know, everyone's going to love the music and the kids singing and the whole, like all of that. That's just like given. They did a fantastic, you know, they just surprised us with a fun show.
Yeah.
Out of the middle of nowhere.
Good. I was very surprised that, in fact, I was shocked. I was like, why haven't I done this before? Yeah. This is great.
Yeah. You've heard a million podcasts tell you that, Chris, and now you've experienced it.
No, you're right. You're right.
I'm so glad.
We did the Indiana Jones show. I did not put that on because that's not a first-time experience. I did that in 2016.
Yeah.
And it's different now.
Yeah.
They do not pull in audience members anymore.
Yep.
That was different.
Right.
The show itself is still great, though. They really do the special effects and everything. And plus, it's such a people eater. That show, that theater packs in so many people, and that's just great for the studios.
Yeah.
The studios needs things like that to pull people in and get them out of other lines. So that, you know, just from a park logistic sense, it needed to be open. I really wish they would reopen Journey of the Little Mermaid or Voyage of the Little Mermaid. That one is also a pretty big people eater. That theater is sitting empty right now. So
true.
Yeah.
No, I've always loved that show. I can watch it over and over again and 100% agree.
Yeah. No, it was a lot of fun. I did Journey into Imagination for the first time. I swore that I was going to wait until G3, this last G3, to do Journey into Imagination for the first time. And for some reason, we didn't get to it. I don't know. I think it was because we went to that building. We went up to the DVC lounge instead. Up top. They gave me the option. I was like, do you want to do Journey or do you want to go up? I was like, I've never been up there. Yeah, let's go
with
up
all
there.
your friends.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So we did that instead. It's probably a one and done for me. It's not a fantastic ride. It's okay. It was entertaining at some points. Probably the biggest point of nostalgia for me was that Dr. Nigel Channing is a member of Monty Python, which I'm a huge Pythoner. So I was like, hey, it's Eric Idle. So that
somehow that does not surprise me in the least, Chris.
Yeah. But that
English humor, right?
You
got some English
I love
humor.
British humor,
yeah.
So, you know, that was the first time we did the Aerophile hot air balloon at Disney Springs.
You're the only one on this podcast in 8 years who's ever talked about this. I think you're going to talk about it. So give me the review.
Yeah. First of all, I want to say, if you're afraid of heights, don't worry. I am not crazy about heights. Mm-hmm. You feel so enclosed in this basket that it is not a big issue. There was never one time where my heart rate got elevated or anything else. You feel very controlled. You feel very enclosed. So it was not a point of contention in any way to be up that high, because they take you up 400 feet. You're high, but it's not like being in a little basket, like a traditional hot air balloon. So, you know, you can kind of walk around in this round basket that they have, round cage, really. And they have netting all around it. I mean, like I said, you just feel very enclosed. There was never at any point I didn't feel safe. So if you're afraid of heights, don't worry about it. Go ahead and take the plunge if it's something you want to do. That being said, would I ever do it again? It's expensive. I mean, for two of us, it was $53. So you're up there for 10 minutes. That's a pretty expensive 10 minutes.
A one and done, I can understand.
Yeah. I enjoyed it. And I really enjoyed freaking out the people who were standing in line. When we were walking back down the ramp, I was looking at Brandy going, we almost died. And I did that just to freak out the people who were standing in line. But other than that, it was fun. We got some great pictures up there. You can see almost everything. You cannot see the castle. And it's only because the Contemporary is in the way. Just where the Contemporary is at, it just blocks out the castle. But you can see Everest, you can see the Tower of Terror, you can see Spaceship Earth, you can see everything. And Everest is a long way. That's the opposite end of property.
Yeah.
But you can still see it. So you get some great views up there. And Disney Springs is just gorgeous. I am not a huge Disney Springs person. I've always said it's a very, very fancy strip mall with really good dining. And I will not come off that stance, but because it's got really good dining, I'm kind of about it, because I like food. So I'm going to be okay with that. But regardless, the views, it is still pretty. They do a lot with the natural landscape there, with the lake they have there and the fountains and everything else they do with it. They just made it a very, very aesthetically pleasing area. It's just, it's pretty.
I'm going to defend your stance there in that one of the experiences I love a lot is the Jersey Shore Wildwood Boardwalk. And they've got, a Jersey Shore boardwalk. And every year when we would go there, they would have these attractions on the boardwalk that would change every year. And, remember, Chris, they had the 3D experiences or the virtual experiences like with Star Wars, which I think there's something.
Void. Yeah.
The Void is coming back.
Oh, is it?
Well, not the Void. There's something else coming back.
No, yeah, they're doing a virtual Star Wars back in the place where the NBA experience used to be.
Yeah.
They just announced that. It's not going to be as immersive as the Void, but it is going to be a 3D experience.
So the point I'm making is they could have some entertainment things in Disney. If they added entertainment things, besides, I love the music, I love the drinks and the bars and the food and all that, but if they could add some more fun things like the Void there, like that would like a Jersey Shore boardwalk, that would make it a destination, wouldn't it?
I agree.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
Like I said, it grows on me every time I go.
Because that little
really
experience
does.
that you just had, if you go to the Jersey Shore, they'd always come up with this like crazy thing, like this slingshot that shoots you up in this ball up into the air, and then you're like screaming and going crazy and you're gonna throw up. And then the next year you'd be on the Jersey Boardwalk and you're like, oh, they got a different thing. Yeah. So that is something. If they could add that to Disney Springs, man, they've already got it. We've already talked about the restaurants and the food and drinks and stuff, but yeah.
No, it is really good. And I tell you, I was really down on Disney Springs for a long time because I remember Downtown Disney, and I remember a lot of the shops they had there that were different. World of Disney, how it used to be before they remodeled it, I was a bigger fan of the old style. I think the new style really looks like an Old Navy. And I mean, I've got an Old Navy in the mall next to me. I don't even go to JC Penney right now. I want, World of Disney. I want, eclectic and crazy. And they've got everything so organized and it's pretty. And the industrial like motif that they're going for in a lot of the Disney Springs, I understand they're trying to do some storytelling with it. And I get that. It's cool. And there are a couple places that have some pretty cool backstories, like Jock Lindsay's. It's a cool lounge. Plus, it's, he's the pilot for Indiana Jones. And just, they have stuff in there that, goes along with that. So they do some pretty cool storytelling. But still, I find it tough to pull myself away from the parks to go there.
Yeah, true. Well, the NBA experience bombed, so let's.
That was a flop. Well, and the NBA commissioner and Bob Iger were really close. I mean, they were really good friends. I have a feeling that influenced that choice a lot.
Nice try.
Yeah, it didn't go so well.
All right. You got a couple other first-time experiences.
Well, number one, the Sassagoula River transportation. I've obviously never done that because I've never stayed at Port Orleans. That was gorgeous. I absolutely love those boats. If it's something where you're not rushed to get from here to there, it is a fantastic way to travel. It's
romantic.
It is. It is. The music they play is not really my normal aesthetic, but you know what? It
like
fits
what?
perfect.
I love their music there. What would you have? Jimmy Buffett?
No, that would be more of an old Key West aesthetic, I think. I like Jimmy Buffett. This was, I'm not the biggest country person. Bluegrass I like. Country, not so much. But,
okay. Maybe it's because you come from Port Orleans. If you go from old Key West, it's Jimmy Buffett and Bobby Harley.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But it was good. I enjoyed that mode of transportation. It's kind of limited in that it only goes to Disney Springs. I really wish they would create a little bit more transportation going to the parks than just buses. But where it's located, that's really all you have. Yeah. So, but I enjoyed that. This was our first time, like I said, doing Flower and Garden. It's the last festival that I had not been to. I've been to Food and Wine. I've been to Festival of the Arts. I've been to Festival of Holidays. So,
all right.
Really,
the big question is, you know what the big question is then? How would you rank the festivals? 1 through 4. He's thinking.
I would rank them. Festival of the Holidays is number 1.
Wow.
I just enjoy Christmas at Disney. There's just nothing like it.
All right, I'll accept that.
I would say, Festival or Flower and Garden 2nd.
Wow.
Festival of the Arts 3rd, Food and Wine last. And Food and Wine last is not a bad thing. Yeah. I like all the festivals.
Yeah.
I am not a hater of any of them. Being last doesn't mean much. It just means I like it less than the other ones, but they're all great.
So how did Flower and Garden get to number 2? That's impressive.
Like I said, I was really into details and architecture, and the topiaries just fit right into that. When you see all those great topiaries of all the things they do, and to know that they start those months in advance and get them pruned up just perfect, I love it. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. The way they have the flowers, even out in the lagoons, the floating pots of flowers. I mean, just gorgeous.
Isn't it that we're from the north and we appreciate spring so much?
That's true.
So our opinion is a little bit persuaded by our hard winters.
You are correct.
I love your last answer here. Our first time experiences. Club Cool. God bless Club Cool for being back.
Yeah, I never went to the old one, and this is my first time at the new one. The line wasn't bad. We were able to hop right in. We tried. I don't know if I tried every single one, but carbonation is something I'm not supposed to have. So that was something I didn't even decide until we were right there that I was even going to do. But I was like, you know what? Just little bitty shots of whatever. It's not going to affect me that bad. Right. So we tried all of them. The Beverly, it's not great, but I was not totally. Oh! Now, Brandy was. She was like, the aftertaste of that just destroyed me. But for me, the China one, the sweet sour plum was awful. Oh God, it just made me want to hurl. That one was by far the worst. So for me.
Good fun, Club Cool, free Coke drinks that it's just fun to taste.
And you know what? If I can say something else, this is not a first time and it's not a tips and tricks or anything else, but can I just say how glad I was to be indoors without a mask? And I'm not an anti-masker. I work in a hospital. I wear a mask every day. I'm absolutely 100%. If that's what you need to be doing, then that's what you need to be doing. But I miss the smells of Disney on those indoor attractions like Soarin' and Flight of Passage, different places where they pipe in those smells, and the mask really inhibits that.
Yeah.
And plus being still, I mean, I've lost a lot of weight, but I'm still a large mammal and I sweat a lot. And so it made it worse when you're indoors and trying to wear a mask and just coming from 90-degree heat. You just don't really get much relief when you come in and you're still having to put on a mask every time. So it was very nice not to have to wear that. It was great. It was very.
Can we all agree that this virus sucks?
Oh God, it's awful. It really is.
We're ready for it. I know it's not over, but we're ready for it to be over.
It's not, but yeah, we are ready. Absolutely. So yeah, but I enjoyed that.
I appreciate that opinion. All right. Tips and tricks. Chris is also a travel agent, and I'm really interested. Well, the question we get, you're going to go in a couple of things here, but Genie Plus is something that comes up all the time, Chris, in my podcast. When they join my private Facebook group, I mean, like 70% of the time they're saying, tell me more about Genie Plus.
Well, yeah, that's because you need almost a bachelor's degree with a specialty in it to understand it. It really is way too complicated for what it needs to be.
I know. It's
so
true.
I hate it. I hate that it's that complicated.
Yeah.
And really, you need to be in an optimum spot to use it effectively.
Yeah.
We were in an optimum spot. So we got to use it very effectively on one of the days we were there. We did not use it on our Epcot day. Number one, because attractions weren't a priority that day. We were really wanting to experience food and wine.
Right.
Now, we did some attractions. We did Frozen, or no, we didn't do Frozen. We did Soarin', we did Living with the Land, we did Journey into Imagination, we did Spaceship Earth. So we did some attractions that day. None of them we really waited that long on.
But you didn't pay for Lightning Lane or anything like that at Epcot.
We did not pay for Lightning Lane for anything.
You didn't do Ratatouille?
We did not. I've ridden that a couple times already. So it wasn't a priority.
Brandy was not interested in doing some of the like Frozen or Ratatouille?
Yeah, Frozen's never a big priority. We talked, if the line was like really short, we would do Frozen. Ratatouille we did several times in December. So both of us. So yeah, there weren't any first timers for Ratatouille.
Gotcha.
We've experienced it several times.
Yep.
That was not really a priority on our Epcot day. Now, on our Hollywood Studios day, I woke up at early, 6 o'clock, purchased Genie Plus, and thought, okay, we're going to try and use this because I know we're going to be hopping. I've heard that that's the best way to use Genie Plus is to stack if you're going to be hopping. So, and this comes with a little caveat because there is something that is broken with Genie Plus, and that is the fact that when you select something, it does not automatically lock that time. As much time as it takes you to finish out the process, those times continue to move on you. So at 7 a.m. on the nose, this was not 7:01, this was 7 o'clock, I went in to try and get Slinky Dog. There was a 9:05 ride for Slinky Dog. I was like, great. Went in, selected my party. By the time I hit confirm, it was at 3:15.
Wow.
8 hours it had moved. Because it doesn't because it doesn't lock it in when you first select it. And that's something that needs to be fixed.
Yeah.
That's something that would not be that hard to fix. Is just to, once you select it, that should lock that time for you. And you should be able to finish out the process without having to try and speed dial it. It's the first time I'd used it. So I was kind of looking at everything and paying attention.
You and I are both in IT. Can you imagine how difficult this app could possibly be in terms of the timing of these things?
It was bad.
I don't know.
So
I'm not in that segment of IT because you're talking about like such a split second. I don't know how you do it.
It is. And it would need to be, that'd be a programming decision where you just say once someone clicks on the select, it needs to lock that time and not let anyone else select it in the meantime.
I know. And everybody, can you think of all the people hitting that button?
Oh, I know.
At 7 o'clock?
Plus, I picked because Rise of the Resistance is an individual lightning lane. So at Hollywood Studios, you got to think Slinky Dog is probably the number one priority for most people. So they're going in and everybody's trying to hammer on that one.
Yeah.
So when it moved up to 3:15, I was like, I'm not even going to be at that park at 3:15 anymore. So I went ahead and it had already confirmed it for that time. So I went in and canceled it and went back into Tower of Terror and looked for it, because right now Tower of Terror is still only running one elevator. So the times on it are just outrageous. So I went ahead and picked it, and we got a time at 1:40, I think, for Tower of Terror. And I was like, we'll just rope drop Slinky, and we have this lightning lane for at 1:40 for Tower. And the way the 120-minute rule works, I knew that Magic Kingdom opens at 9. And so at 11, I would be able to make another lightning lane for the park we're going to hop to. So I made a Splash Mountain at 3 o'clock. And then at 1, I went in and made another, because now it's been 120 minutes from that lightning lane. I was able to make another one for Big Thunder, and I made that for 3:30. So I was able to stack them very close together, but I couldn't make them. It was... You know what? I almost feel like you need a PhD to understand exactly how the stacking works.
You know what, Chris? For the first time, the thought I'm having right now is, being in IT, they should have offered this system for free. And then when they figured it out, then charge for it.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Because there is no rhyme or reason to this right now.
No, it's kind of silly the way it works. When it first came out, there were some loopholes that you could use. Like you could have 2 stacks going at once. You could have your current lightning lane selections and then your stack lightning lane that uses the 120-minute rule. And you could keep both of them going at one time. They eliminated that loophole, which is fine.
Unless I'm paying $15 to go ride Remy or Guardians of the Galaxy and I can get a decent time for when I want to go, then it makes sense. If I'm paying $15 to ride and I can go at 11 o'clock in the morning, great. But everything else is really pretty chaotic right now.
It really is. So basically what we did was we scheduled the Tower of Terror at 1:40. We knew we were going to ride that. 2 hours after the park opened, I was able to make another selection, since 1:40 is quite a bit later in the afternoon, and I made it for Magic Kingdom. And it let me do that because it knows after 2 o'clock you can hop. So I was able to make a lightning lane for Splash Mountain at 3. And then 2 hours later at 1, before we had ever got on the Tower of Terror, I was able to make another lightning lane because, once again, 2-hour rule, 120 minutes. So I was able to make another one for Big Thunder. Got that one for 3:30. And then I ended up making, after I got off of Tower of Terror, I made a Buzz Lightyear for 4 o'clock. So I had 3 of them within 30 minutes, really, once we got to Magic Kingdom. So we hopped to Magic Kingdom at about 3 o'clock. The bus transportation from park to park is still pretty sketchy. We waited a long time for a bus from Hollywood Studios to Magic Kingdom. And there really wasn't a better way to get there. I mean, you would have had to go to a resort and then try to hop there. That just wasn't worth it. So we ended up getting there. We did all 3 rides before we went back to our resort to go to boat rides and go to the room. So we got 3 lightning lanes in before then. And then we were meeting up with that family. They did not have a Genie Plus. So we didn't schedule anything until Brandy was telling me, I just don't feel like I've been to Magic Kingdom. She would get along with Margita really well in this. She was like, I just don't feel like I've been to Magic Kingdom if I haven't ridden Peter Pan. So I was like, okay, another little tip here, keep refreshing, because lightning lanes, there were no lightning lanes for Peter Pan. They were gone by, noon. However, people cancel. We had to cancel Slinky Dog. And when they canceled, one popped up for like a half hour after we got off of Pirates. And so I was able to nab that.
Nice.
So was Genie Plus worth it? For us, it was. We used it to our advantage. We were able to stack in the afternoon. And we even used one in the evening. We probably could have done more had we wanted to stay at Magic Kingdom even later that day. But by then it was 10 o'clock at night. We were ready to go. So
I totally can see hopping and Magic Kingdom working for this system. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was great. There were a few things that obviously weren't available. Seven Dwarfs was gone. Jungle Cruise usually gets sold out pretty quick, but everything else was pretty much available. As long as you keep refreshing the app, keep looking, because people cancel stuff, and then all of a sudden new times will pop up that weren't there before.
Yeah. On an emotional level, I would love for you, me, and our wives to hang out at Disney World one time.
That would be fun. That would be fun.
I think we would get along swimmingly.
I completely agree.
Dude. Love you, man. And I don't know. What do you want to finish with, Chris?
Well, at G3, we went to the Harmonious fireworks party. It was fantastic. It was terrific. I mean, you're there with 100 of your closest friends. You're all down there right by the water. However, since then, I have been, done a lot of research, and it's like, boy, that is just not the place you want to view Harmonious from if you want the best viewing. And everything I said says between USA and Japan, that's where you want to be. So we went on the first night there. We went after Trattoria Al Forno, we came back to Epcot and watched Harmonious from Japan. And when you can see the big ring and what people call the Stargate, and the things on the sides of it, and you see the reflections on the water in those, it is incredible. It added so much to that show that you couldn't see from otherwise. You would not be able to see from Mexico or France just because of the angle you're at. So I highly suggest seeing it from Japan, the USA, or from the very front of World Showcase, like when you first enter from, the future world.
I am surprised by that. Disney would do that with this show.
Yeah, no, I agree. You've got all that room around all of World Showcase to watch it, but they've made it where only certain spots are. It's like B1 and Soarin', I mean, why have a ride that you have to see? Do you have to ask to be at a certain place to get the best view? I don't understand that, but it is what it is.
I hate to admit, my friend Auntie Judy is correct. She has said this to me, and I rejected it, or I ignored her on this. But all right, well, like Chris said, we had a hell of a time at G3 at the French Pavilion anyway, regardless of the viewing position.
So good.
But you can have fun watching Harmonious no matter what your experience is. Chris, love you, man. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Love you too, Kurt. We have really enjoyed our time doing this. I hate that my countdown for Disney now stands at over 500 days. That is really depressing.
No, we gotta rectify that situation.
Well, I have a lot of people telling me you're gonna sneak in a trip before that, but I just don't know. My annual pass expires in September, and I know that I'm not renewing it, and I know that I'm not going to get in a trip before that. So if I go again before G3, it's going to be a pricey trip. So I don't know. I would love to sneak in another trip, but who knows? Who knows how that'll work?
All right, buddy. Great to review this trip, and the future is what it is. We'll figure something out.
All right. Have a great night, Kurt. Bye, geeks.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.
Boy, I have so much fun talking with my good pals here in the Geekin' family. Chris definitely is one of ours, one of yours, one of mine. And thanks, Chris, for coming on and even having a short trip, but just going into great, excruciating detail and, going like 90 minutes. I tried to do you proud in my trip report. I was editing yours, getting prepared for my trip report, and I tried to do as good a job as you did, but fantastic job, Chris. And, we got some geek meets coming up. We got some fun times like the Albany, New York, July 9th. Maybe this is my last chance to tell you about it. It's coming up this next weekend, a Saturday in Albany, New York. Our good pal Wendy Fox is hosting it. She's getting some help from Samantha Kuhn. we'll be at the Chalet Pavilion, Tawasentha Park at noon. We got food, games, lots of geek and shenanigans. All are welcome. Please message me or Wendy or Samantha if you need some hotel suggestions. We got Wendy providing burgers and chicken, veggie burgers. We're going to have some lunch. I think we're going to have some pizza probably later in the afternoon. I know that's what we did last time, but great games. Bring something to share. We got a Yankee swapped, a little GIF exchange too we're doing. I know they got a Jeopardy board. I remember them putting together with help from some of the Geekin family. So excited to see you guys up there. We got a good crowd coming up. So thanks, Wendy, for putting that on. And I talked about this a little bit in the intro. I'm going to keep talking about it. We're getting lots of interest for the Geekin cruise on the Wish, going down to the Bahamas, Castaway Cay, February 10th through the 13th on the Disney Wish. Yeah, they just christened it this past week. It's been really exciting. Everyone's watching the videos of the first voyage. People are getting on it. So, hey, big shout out to Samantha Kuhn, Rebecca Rudin, Deirdre Watts, Travis Dietrich, Andy Hoffman, Jeff Opolka. They've already booked it, and they've got a couple others that booked it this past week. So we're getting several inquiries. I see Mama talking and booking Penny Van this past week for sure. And I think there's one other that booked it also. So don't wait too long. I don't know how popular the Wish is going to be. This is one of those trips where it could get filled up and you might get left off if you don't get on this fast. So contact Margita. She'll get you all the details. Email her at travelandtiras@gmail.com. Love all the support I'm getting through patreon.com. Thank you so much for pledging a monthly donation. Some of the geeks are doing annual donations. And I try to thank you guys by releasing bonus episodes. I have some live recordings I did when I was down on my trip. I got episode 121 I released this past week. It includes a coffee walk talking about the Geekin cruise and Barney the Bear encounter. This is a little intro I did while I was up here. I ran into my friendly neighborhood bear who's always robbing my bird feeder. And I just found out he crushed my hummingbird feeder. This is the latest thing he did. But I was watching him as he was eating garbage this past Wednesday as I was walking along. Doing a little intro, which includes on the episode Mickey and Minnie's Railway. It's Margita's first time on that ride and also her first time she did Ratatouille. But we're also on Slinky Dog. She's giggling the whole time. It's kind of had fun listening to her reactions. You'll also hear the Lightyear movie preview, which was in Walt's One Man's Dream. You know, have that little theater there. I recorded that. And also the Frozen sing-along. I think definitely get a coffee walk down in the parks, I think, in the next episode, which will be episode 122. I like to do those just to say thanks to you guys who support the podcast using patreon.com. Look for Geekin on WDW. I thank you so much all for doing that. Hey, a little shout out to my good friend Andy Hoffman. He always reaches out to me too, and he sends me a little chat. Says, I really enjoyed that Inner Circle episode, the live recordings, Kurt. So thank you, Andy, for doing that. And also thank you for sending me a pin, his trip to Disneyland. I'm reaching over here, and he sent me a pin that is one of my favorite characters. Well, it is my favorite character, Baloo. Little Mowgli. It's one of my favorite scenes too, where Mowgli's on top of Baloo. They're out in the water. My friend Rodel Gonzalez did a great painting of this particular scene from the movie, but I love that particular picture, Andy. So that's fantastic. It's on my wall here, my little pin board from all the pins geeks send me. So thank you, Andy, for doing that. And I can't wait to see you on the cruise. And reach out to our traveling guides, travelandtiras@gmail.com. Judy and Mama are back at it. They're feeling great. And we'll be doing their trip report real soon. I got to talk to Wendy. You know, she's been real busy. And I know Judy's feeling much better. Mom's feeling great. So let's get that trip report done also. And we're just committed to helping you enjoy your Disney World vacation. Reach out to me if you'd like to do a trip report, book a trip, review plans for trips, ask me questions. Kurt.stone@geekinonwdw.com. I love hearing from you guys. Love seeing you guys at Geek Meets or down at the parks. And thanks for going geeking on Walt Disney World with us. We really appreciate you listening and geeking with us every single day. We love you, geeks. Have a magical day. Have a happy 4th of July. Enjoy those fireworks, and I hope all your dreams come true. Because here in America, if you can dream it, you can do it. As my little plaque says. I got at Disney World my last trip. Have a great week, guys.